Pearlie in the Christmas Angel Beverly Harmer, illustrated by Gypsy Dela. It was just the days before Christmas in Jubilee Park, and the children were up bright and early having fun on their school holidays. Pearlie loved this time of year lost of all, and she jumped out of bed at great excitement. She had a very busy day ahead of her. There were presents to wrap and Christmas treats to bake. Her friend over the desert ferry was coming from Rainbow Ridge to visit, and she still hadn't finished decorating her shop. Pearlie cried, "I'd better get started." Pearlie quickly dressed and ate her breakfast of toasted sunflower seed bread, rose petal jam, and jasmine tea. Then she popped outside to make sure everything in Jubilee Park was in its place just right. All the creatures were getting ready for the Christmas Eve celebrations when the park would be full of children singing the carols back in lot. Mother Duck was titting her best in the long grass while her babies splashed in the pond. Silky and Sulky Starter was spinning the special festive web. The four frogs were plucked in the mud practicing the holiday harmonies, and Brush and Sugar Possum were hanging garlands of garlands from the branches of their tree. The morning was already very hot, and Pearlie could see the wind rustling the treetops down. There might be a thunderstorm this afternoon, she thought to herself. Suddenly, Jasper the elf flew past at a great rate. Pearlie, come and see the Christmas tree decor. Pearlie and Jasper soon passed the playground. Over the hill, and there was the tallest, grandest, sparkling Christmas tree in the whole world. Bells and tinsel, said Pearlie. It's the most beautiful tree I ever did see. I meant the grounds. Jasper laughed. It was indeed a wonderful sight. The Jubilee Park gardeners had spent all night decorating the giant pine tree. It was covered in silver tinsel, gold, and bells, shiny ornaments, and there on the very top was a Christmas angel. "Sweet," whispered Jasper. Pearlie and Jasper flew out for a closer look. The angel was dressed in a shimmering white gown. She had a golden halo and held a whip of carols in her hands. She was perfect. "The children will love her," said Pearlie. "Tomorrow will be our best carols by candlelight ever." Pearlie and Jasper went about their business for the rest of the day. Pearlie baked a special cake in the shape of a star and sprinkled it with raspberry-flavored glitter. Then she strung fairy lights all over her shell, inside and out. Jasper wrapped his presents in fresh green leaves and practiced jingle bells on his flute. It was late afternoon when they met at the front gate to wait for Opal to arrive. By now it was very, very hot, and giant black clouds had gathered in the sky. The wind was fierce. Pearlie and Jasper would all stay into the net. "Thunder and lightning, here comes the storm," cried Pearlie. She clung under the gate as the first giant raindrops fell, but Jasper danced about, happily getting wet. Everyone was helpful of all kinds of weather. At last, through the pelting rain and growing wind, Pearlie and Jasper spied over who looked as if she had been blown through a bush backwoods. "Real lovely weather for that," Opal called. "Cranky, I'm glad to see you too." The three friends used the spotted but still for an umbrella and battled through the nasty weather back to the safety of Pearlie's shell on top of the old stone fountain. That night was the worst storm ever in Jubilee Park. Pearlie, Jasper, and Opal tried hard not to be frightened as the thunder crashed and the lightning flashed outside. Pearlie made a delicious supper of pineapple pancakes, fried macadamia nut ice cream, and daisy fish, but even it couldn't lift their spirits. It was dangerous for Jasper to go on to his leather bricks, so he crawled out for the night in Pearlie's favorite chair. Opal slept in the bathtub under that down blanket. Pearlie tossed and turned in her own little bed and hoped the trees and all the creatures in Jubilee Park would be safe. She also thought of the Christmas angel. "I hope she ain't some tight," wished Pearlie. The next morning was calm and clear. The three friends hurried off to make sure that everything was in its place just right, but it wasn't, not at all. The mighty wind had blown rubbish everywhere, leaves had been ripped from trees, and the carols by candlelight banner had been torn right off the fence. They raced to the Christmas tree. But the terrible sight, the Christmas tree was bare. The decorations had been blown into the bushes, the tinsel was bedraggled and floating in the pond, and the golden bells were hanging off the slippery tip. But worst of all, where was the angel? Jasper spied her lying in a muddy puddle. Her arms were broken, her painted face was washed off, and her hair was bent and twisted. Out looked at her, sniffed Jasper, the brutal fallen angel. "All eating at it," said Pearlie sadly. "How can we have Christmas without an angel?" "Cripes, what a round thing to happen," said Opal. The three friends said in silence. There would be no carols by candlelight for the children this year. What a tragedy. And then the strange thing happened. All the creatures in the park began to gather at the bottom of the Christmas tree. Mother Duck and her four babies were carrying shiny red and green balls. They had found them in the bushes. What, you help me decorate the tree again, Pearlie, said Mother Duck. Then the four frogs arrived dragging a soggy length of silver tinsel. Brush and Sugar Possum came helping. and puffing, holding a chain of golden bells between them. Then came Silky, and Selfie with a sparkling cobweb to tie on the decorations. Pearlie, Chester, and Opal looked at each other and smiled. Pearlie, you're right, said Pearlie. We can make the tree beautifully. And Fool, said Chester, crying his eyes. By jingles, it's a long way to the top, though, said Opal. And these decorations are so heavy, how will we turn everything up there? Brush and Sugar looked up and realized they couldn't help. The top branches were not strong enough to hold the other possums. What could be done? Everyone was thinking hard when those two naughty rats, Scrag and Mr. Flea, crawled out of their hiding place in the other train. Scrag coughed nervously. We could run everything up the tree if we want, but only because we want Father Christmas to come to Jupiter Park and bring us lots of presents, not because we like children or their scabby moms and dads, squeaked Mr. Flea. And we had nasty candles and Hope was singing, so don't expect us to hang around. Scrag growled, when everyone cried. It was a lot of hard work to make Jupiter Park a picture once more. Everyone helped to haul all the decorations one by one up the Christmas tree. They tied the carols by candlelight banner over the front fence and cleaned up the leaves and rubbish. There was only one thing missing, the lovely angel who had raised the very, very dark branch. Pearlie just smiled and waved her magic wand. In a twinkling, the angel's arms were good as new and her painted face was perfectly in. Opal fluffed up her feathery wings, Chester straightened her hair, and shook the angel's knees and her hair fell off. Right, she must have cut a cord, said Opal. She's too sick to be on the top of the Christmas tree tonight. Presents and mince pies, exclaimed Pearlie. What will we do now? Chester thought for a minute. Will you take the angel's place just for a night? He asked Pearlie. Exclaimed Pearlie, but I'm so shy. And I'd go on, mate, said Opal. You have to do it for the children. A tree without an angel just wouldn't be Christmas. Pearlie decided Chester and Opal were right. Just on dusk, before the children arrived, Pearlie put on her loveliest shimmering gown and flew to the top of the tree. Soon there was a procession of lighted candles along the footpaths of Jupiter Park. Hundreds of children from all corners of the big city had come with their mothers and fathers to celebrate the joy of Christmas. The tree glowed with tiny lights and a sprinkle of magic fairy dust. As the children held the candles and sang carols, they looked up and could see a lovely shining angel on the top branch. The very tiniest babies thought they could see her wings fluttering. Pearlie looked down and could see the children's upturned happy faces. She watched Opal and Chester singing along, and all the creatures in the park joining in. She could even see the red yellow eyes shining through the bushes, and beyond them, the whole of her beloved Jupiter Park. Pearlie hoped everyone in the park would be filled with the true spirit of Christmas, loving kindness and goodwill to all. She wished every girl and boy a very, very magical Christmas from the bottom of her heart. The end.
Thanks for watching. Stall that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.